Welcome to the CPCW monthly update for pharmacy contractors and their teams for January 2023. Happy New Year to those of you who have not seen already. These updates go out on YouTube, but also on all major podcast platforms so the whole team can access. Just a little bit of an update on them, on where we're up to. So we've had a few things happen recently, so I'm going to talk about a number of them. First one is the serious stock shortage protocols. Then about a bit of news about PCN pilot, a bit of news about the LPC and its role in relationship management, a little bit of news around ERD, and then some updates around the contraception service as well as a couple of other things. First one, we've just released some stock shortage protocols in combination with Warrington Place. You'll be seeing these in the newsletter, and there's some really, it is specific to Warrington, but there's some really useful principles in there around the responsibility and what roles you should be doing and how you have a conversation with the GP. It does determine that the patient has some responsibility to source, not just rely on us to source, and the guidance is really to help and to support what can be put in place around that. Obviously, shortage protocols are high on our agenda. We've had the SSPs, they've been in full flow. Hopefully they're starting to wane a little bit in how much they're needed with the antibiotics element of it at least. The one thing I do want to remind people of, there's a little bit of noise in the system, but using them is part of the essential services. So where they are able to be deployed, pharmacy teams should be, as part of their core contract, deploying them. There's a lot of support out there, and if anyone is really struggling to make it work for them locally, please get in touch with our team and we'll help you out, and we'll make sure that we help you navigate through that. A little bit of news around the PCN pilot. So we managed to get some agreement for some PCN lead type roles across Cheshire East. It is unique to Cheshire East Place at the moment, but it's going to be some funded time for people to be able to develop relationships, coordinate some work across the localities in a bit of a short-term pilot to try and find out if this was funded locally, what could we do with it. So contractors in Cheshire East, please look out for this, support where you can, and it is likely to dictate whether this work strand is more widely used and followed right across the area. We are going to be approaching those who've done a PCN lead role in the past, and where those roles are vacant, we've got some people identified, but if you're really interested in participating in that work, please get in touch with us at support@cpcw.org.uk, and we'll make sure we link you into the pilot as that takes place. We've had a couple of queries that I thought would be just helpful to sort of clarify around the LPC role in relationship management. We are absolutely there to support you as contractors. Often our role is in commissioning matters, with negotiation and for general support. We've had a couple of instances recently where we've been contacted by either general practices to ask for pharmacies to behave in a certain way, or pharmacies for us to go and instruct a general practice to act in a certain way. And I just want to make that really, really clear. That's not our role. We're not there to instruct people to ask in other ways. Our role is about facilitating that relationship. The core relationships and managing those that you have with other providers locally is a critical thing for independencies to maintain and to work on themselves. We can facilitate on that, but it's really, really important to put some effort into maintaining those relationships as you can do. And I know it's really, really difficult, particularly in areas where there's competition. But if there is any part where you want us to be supportive, you want us to get other local representative committees, whether that be dentistry, optometry or general medical practice, then we certainly can do, and we can offer some help in that regard. Next topic was around electronic repeat dispensing. We're working on a piece with our PCN pharmacists to work on that. What we're really looking for is there anywhere on the patch, is there any contractors that feel that they do it particularly well? And that's both a contractor does it particularly well, as well as a general practice supporting them does it really, really well. We're hearing that some good work in Wallasey and some good work in Heswell, but I'm sure there's other areas where it's been implemented well, and we want to learn from that. So if there's anyone that wants to have a very brief phone call with our team on how to develop it and what to work better on, then please get in contact with us and we'll make sure we link you up with the right people. We've had a number of queries in around the National Contraception Service. Obviously, we've got the pilot taking place on some parts of our area. The national service, the advanced service, we don't yet have a firm date. PSNC have updated us that it will only go live once the IT and the API link that sits behind that IT solution is in place. The latest indication we've got, but that isn't expected to be until March at the earliest. But as soon as we have any firm news, we'll be able to update you, and we'll make sure we keep you fed in through these updates on how progress goes towards that. As a group of LPCs together, so the 4 within Cheshire and Merseyside, we are actually looking at doing a potential training event. That's likely to be within March, just to support contractors locally think about how they approach that service, what will make it a success, and what relationships and what links and stakeholders you need to get involved with helping you make it that success that it should be. So look out for the date. As soon as we've got it, we'll put a hold date out in newsletters and on the calendars, just to make sure you've got that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention for today, obviously we're in the very end of the flu service, so although the service does run till the end of March, it has dropped off significantly in recent weeks. However, we have had a few little mini spikes, so if you've got vaccines left, please make sure you push them out. Please make sure you continue having the conversations with people who've been vaccine hesitant beforehand. Might well be willing to be vaccinated given what's happened over the winter period and over Christmas period. So please make sure if you do have vaccines left, you carry on the conversation. You are still able to offer them up until the end of March. That's it for us for this month. Like I say, if you find these useful, there's a couple of playlists that are on our YouTube channel that you can subscribe to, and you'll get automatic notification. We will always mention them in the newsletter. If there's any queries in the meantime, please get in touch with you. Otherwise, we'll see you next month.